we present the work of the great leader Kim Jong Il, Socialism is a Science, made public on November 1st, 1994. This is the second installment. Although socialism is an inevitable stage of historical development and socialist society is the most progressive one which conforms with man's independent nature, socialism will never be realized spontaneously. In order to realize socialism, we must prepare the revolutionary forces capable of doing this and evolve a correct method of struggle. Unless the revolutionary forces and the method of struggle are prepared, the desire for independence of the popular masses who aspire after socialism will remain a mere wish. The idea of eliminating exploitation, oppression and social inequality, as well as the private ownership on which these are based, and of setting up an equal society based on public ownership was put forward by utopian socialists a long time ago. However, the utopian socialists, despite their sympathy for the misery of the exploited working masses, failed to see them as the revolutionary force capable of bearing the exploitative society and building a new society. They considered that the irrational aspects of capitalist society could be corrected by enlightening people and appealing to the goodwill of the exploiter class. It is an unscientific illusion to expect the goodwill from the exploiter class whose nature is greed. The utopian socialists' expectation of goodwill from the exploiter class was their historical limitation. The exploiter class and their stooges put forward the theory of class cooperation and tried to block the struggle of the exploited working masses against exploitation and oppression. Within the communist movement, reformists and revisionists demanded a class cooperation and seriously harmed the revolutionary movement. Today, traitors to socialism are also clamoring for a return to capitalism, harboring illusions about capitalism and expecting aid and cooperation from the imperialists. History shows that to expect goodwill or class cooperation from the exploiter class is to make a mess of the revolution. Marxism combined the demands of working people who aspire to socialism with revolutionary forces and the revolutionary fighting method. Marxism made clear that contradictions existed between the productive forces and relations of production in capitalist society, that these contradictions could be resolved through the class struggle of the exploited working people against the exploiter class, and that the working class would take charge of and lead this class struggle. Thanks to Marxism, the inevitability of the collapse of capitalism and the victory of socialism was proved, and the demands of exploited working people who aspire to socialism were linked with the practical revolutionary forces and the revolutionary fighting method capable of meeting their demands. Socialism was thus converted from a utopian scheme into a science, and a revolutionary change took place in the history of humanity's struggle for liberation. However, the theory of socialism in the preceding age, based on a materialist outlook on history, was not free from historical limitations. This theory did not regard the social and historical movement as a movement of the motive force, as a movement which begins and develops on the initiative and through the role of the popular masses, its motive force, but as a natural historical process which changes and develops due to material and economic factors. According to the materialist outlook on history, the more the productive forces develop in a capitalist society, the more intensive the incompatible contradictions between the productive forces and relations of production and the antagonism between the exploiter class and the exploited class grow, the more the working class and other revolutionary forces develop in strength, and accordingly, the more the revolution matures. Seeing material and economic factors as fundamental in the revolutionary struggle, the preceding theory of socialism failed to raise the task of strengthening the motive force of the revolution and enhancing its role as the basic way to carry out the revolution. As for the influence exerted by the development of productive forces in capitalist society, we must not approach it from only one side. The development of the productive forces in capitalist society intensifies the bipolar differentiation which results from the increasing imbalance between rich and poor. It sharpens class contradictions, while at the same time it provides the monopolists with increasing possibilities to spend part of their high profits on soothing class contradictions. In addition, the development of the productive forces results in the expansion of the ranks of industrial workers by the incorporation of peasants and other petty bourgeois classes, and also increased proportion of workers engaged in mental and technical labor in the productive sectors as well as those in non-productive sectors. Of course, objective conditions have a great influence on the revolutionary struggle. But the decisive factor in the victory of the revolution lies not in objective conditions, but in how to strengthen the motive force of the revolution and how to raise its role. Whether in a developed capitalist country or an underdeveloped one, socialism can emerge victorious if the motive force of the revolution is strengthened and its role enhanced through efficient work. History shows that socialism first triumphed in relatively backward countries, not in the countries where capitalism had developed. The experience of our revolution, which has advanced under the banner of the Juche idea, shows that if we strengthen the motive force of the revolution and enhance its role, we can not only avail ourselves of the given objective conditions, but also turn unfavorable objective conditions into favorable ones and ensure the victory of the revolution by turning a misfortune into a blessing.